Welcome back to Basin Motorsports and another episode of making your car frickin' awesome. So I've previously shown you how to fit your trunk or your hood on your Mustang in order to get everything lined up. Now this is fitting the gaps and the flush on all surfaces. Doesn't matter if it's trunk, hood, doesn't matter what car it is, the technique is going to work. So today I want to show you how to fit your doors to make them fit primo okay. Now, as the other stuff I had done before with the trunk and the hood, what I wanted to show you was the structure of it, because it didn't matter if it's on a Mustang, on a Camaro, or on a Civic, or a Land Rover, all of it is going to be applicable. So what I'm going to show you to start with is going to be how the structure of everything fits together, and then the easy way to adjust in order to get everything to line up. Now, if you've been to a lot of car shows or you see a lot of magazines, a lot of days you see vehicles that just don't have good fitting doors or fenders. And the reason is, the thing that they are really missing is that everything isn't aligned to the rear quarter panel. Now, it doesn't matter if it's going to be a 2-door or a 4-door, the thing you start with and recognize is that the rear quarter panel, does not move. So everything needs to be adjusted in reference to this. So the first thing you're going to adjust is going to be your door. Now note on the structure on the door, the things that are going to stand out, at least to your eyes, are the body lines and whether they are going to match up or not. Now don't let the rear outer fender of my quarter panel fool you. This is an over fender, so you can see the alignment here doesn't line up. The thing you should note though is that the original line here exactly matches. You can also note that there's a body line here that matches between part to part, and there's also a top piece here, part to part. Doesn't matter if it's the front door and it's a 2-door, or if it's a rear door and a 4-door, these are the things you've got to keep in mind. So now if you want to take measurements on everything, the things you want to know is fore aft is that you have a consistent gap here on the door to the quarter panel. Now Ford intended these to be 1/4 inch, so you can use just a simple tape measure, or if you have something like a thickness gauge that matches 1/4 inch, your gap all the way through consistently should be 1/4 inch fore aft this way. Thankfully Ford was consistent with how everything fit there, so as long as you don't have a dent like I do here, this should be 1/4 inch top to bottom consistently. Now if I show you looking there, I do have some dents in there, so it kind of changes that gap, but that is consistent front to back either way if you measure it or eyeball it. And there again, if I stand back and show you from the fender to the door to the fender, all of those original body lines line up, which is the exact point of doing all of this. So now to start aligning your door, you've got to take reference of how your door fits to the quarter panel. It may be tilted down in the front, down in the back. It could be too high, it could be too low, it could be too forward, too back. You've got to know how to reference everything. The one thing you have to recognize is that the 2 hinges at the front where they mount from the door to the A-pillar, that is really what is going to contribute the most to the fit on everything. Now when I adjusted this recently on this door, I had a condition that it was low in the front and it was struggling to close in the back. Now it was only about 1/4 inch or so off, but that was enough when it came back to the striker itself, made it hard to close, and it just didn't look right. It wasn't a consistent line all the way across from fender to door to fender. So the easiest way I would recommend to fix everything, whether it's low in the front or high in the front, low in the back, low in the front, is that you go in through the fender itself. Take your inner fender out if you have them. Take your fender, your door bolts loose on the hinges. Take those slightly loose. You don't have to take them out, just take them loose. And then you can open the door slightly and use a floor jack. Take your floor jack, put a piece of 2x4 on top, and that way you can use that to lift as you need to, or you can help it lower as you need to. Either way, a floor jack allows consistent movement, whether it's up or down, and you can also direct that, whether it's on the front, the middle, or the back. That will help you kind of adjust it either way. Now, when you make an adjustment, you can tighten your hinges down, tighten all the bolts down, whether you do that with a ratchet or a wrench. Tighten it down, shut the door, see if it closes, and assess it. Now once you have all the body lines matched up, you can then adjust your striker. The striker itself is meant to keep the door closed. So it can be used to fit flush in out, but you're really not going to do an adjustment of up down with it. It needs to float and be loose to where your door will close and lock in, and it will pull it tight, but not pull it too far inboard or leave it too far outboard. So you can loosen it up, you can slightly move it in or out as you need to, just a little tap, cinch it back down, and then close your door. When you have everything consistent, right? So it's consistent gap along the bottom, the door molding lines from fender to door or to fender are consistent, everything is great, it's all tightened down. This door should be able to close consistently without hitting, and it shouldn't bind at any point. Now, if you put on new seals, you know you're going to have to use a little bit more force to get those to close against it, but it should be consistent. And consistency is the key. It picks it up in your eyes, and you can see gaps. You can see consistent either up, down, or even through a curve, or along the bottom. But that is the key with all of this. Okay, so once you have your door fit to your quarter panel, you can then start adjusting your fender. Don't try and do your fender to the door until you know your door is correct to the quarter fender. That way, kind of like A is equal to B, and then you can make C equal to B. This is going to be similar to fitting at the back. You're going to look for gaps. You're going to look for position. So again, you have 3 across the top. You've got 1 on the bracket here. You've got 1 at the bottom down here, and then it also connects to your fascia. So you can adjust your fascia, or you can take the nuts and bolts loose in your fascia connection back there. That gives you a little bit of flexibility. You can kind of adjust things. This here, you're going to be looking for a gap between the door and the fender, and then you're also going to be looking for adjustment in and out. Now again, your major pieces are going to be your body molding line here on the fender going to the door, and then you're going to be looking at your top. So again, focus on your gap, moving it fore aft as you need to get about a quarter inch gap here, and then you can also adjust it up and down. Make sure everything's loose, get it in position, and then you can lock it down with either the top bolts there, you can lock it with this bracket, or you can lock it here. I usually take this bracket completely loose from the pillar there, and then you can also take it loose from the fender itself. Just loosen everything up so that it's completely adjustable. Set the fender, and then tighten this back down. Now, it doesn't matter if you're going to use aftermarket parts like I did, using fiberglass and to the original metal. Everything's going to be the same. It's all about fitting the body lines, getting everything set with your gaps, with your flush, your in and out, and it's all about just fine adjustments. Take one piece at a time. If it's too low, adjust that high. Adjust it here and there, fore aft, double check everything, triple check everything before you snug everything down and walk away. Now, if you guys have any questions on how to adjust the trunk, the hood, either the door to the quarter or the fender to the door, you know how to get in touch with me. DM me either on Instagram, Facebook, leave a comment down below. I'm always here to help you guys, and it doesn't matter if you're running a wide body Mustang or a stock Mustang. It doesn't matter what car it is. The structure is all going to be the same, so take it one piece at a time. Door, whether it's rear or front, to the quarter, fender to the door. Don't mix those up. Do a piece at a time, because your base structure at the quarter doesn't change. It is what it is. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, subscribing, and if you have any questions or anything else I've done along the way, or what I'm going to do on the Gray Lady, let me know. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.